Okay, so in those phases, as I mentioned, there are the life cycle phases, which are accumulation phase, protection phase, and then accumulation, protection, and then distribution. So you accumulate your assets, and then you want to protect those assets, and then we need to survive off those assets. So I'm going to distribute those assets to myself to survive off of. That just means I'm gonna start taking out, if it takes you 5,000 a month to survive on in retirement, I'm gonna get my 5,000 a month out of the assets that I have accumulated and protected. So there are completely different investment strategies for each phase. And within those strategies, there are completely different investment vehicles that you use for each phase. So there's different investment vehicles that I'm going to use to accumulate my assets, different vehicles for protecting those assets. And then when it's time to distribute, I just want to ensure that I don't run out of money before I die. And that part, outliving your money, is what becomes the problem, and is what my key argument in this whole concept of this life cycle phase, investment life cycle phase. Because the reality is that the current school of thought on helping you save and invest requires you to die at a specific time. So I'm identifying for you that I want you to die at age 99 or something like that, right? So dang. So if I, under that scenario, if I achieve the best possible outcome for my life here on earth, which means I continue living, and remember, and I could dive deeper into that, because this is I just understand that advances in medicine have been stretching our lives out longer. And I will also point out that this is even against your will. I'm not saying that you want to die, but even if you say, "Oh, I'm about to run out of money," then okay, I'm ready to die. No, it is not that easy. It's not gonna happen, because you'll get sick. You could get sick the day after you run out of money, and be in a hospital. They're not gonna let you die. They'll keep you alive for years, plugged up to machines if need be. And then once they can patch up all the holes, and repair all the physical ailments you have, that will allow you to live another 5, 10, 1, 2, 3, however many years it is, right? They'll patch you up, and they're going to send you back outside. They're going to kick you out of this hospital into a terrible financial situation. So in that point, you do not have the ability to earn income, because you are old, frail, and sick, and you don't have no money. So, you know, that's a bad situation. So outliving your money is not good. So you think that you're behind, but what I'm telling you is you're not behind. So I'm talking to 40-year-olds who think it's a lost cause, but understand that you're not going to die till in your 70s and 80s and 90s, and maybe beyond. So if you were to live to 80, you're complaining at 40, but you need your money to last till you're 80. So that's 40 years. Do you know how much work on your finances you could do in 40 years? Man, you could be doing a miraculous amount of success in your investments in that time horizon. And then, but remember, if you could keep thinking it's too late for that whole 40 years. So that's what I'm saying. So I don't care how old you are, start now. Start now. And all right. And I'm going to get to some of the tactics you could use that I'm going to tell you. I'm going to just I just point out a few tactics that you'll understand that, oh yeah, I guess so. I guess I could do that. And it'll catch you right back up with the same people you were sitting in your high school class with that you think are super balling, and you wish you was doing as good as they were doing. Well, it's ways you could catch up to them. Even though you started at age 40, at age 50, doesn't matter. You have to do something, right? So with the concept that you have to do something, think about that. You have to. I mean, unless failure is an option for you, then yeah, okay, I guess you don't have to do nothing. But I'm gonna get to that part in a little bit. Those are some of the solutions. I'm talking about the problems now. We're gonna get to the solutions later, but I want to identify a bit more detail about these life cycle phases, and each phase of your life cycle, accumulation, protection, and distribution, has that type of investment strategy, meaning aggressive, moderate, and conservative associated with them. So what does it mean to be aggressive, moderate, or conservative as an investor? Well, the traditional school of thought or the traditional prescription to that, or answer to that, is the mix that you have of stocks and bonds. So bonds are considered conservative, where stocks are considered aggressive because of the volatility. Volatility is just a fancy word for saying, as time goes on, stocks are going to go up and down, up, 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 down. But they're going up and down on a steady climb up. So as you see, the chart is always like this. But if we put a bar across all of that to show the average level of growth, it's a straight angle upward. So there are many dips in that path up. That's what I'm saying. And that's borne out in your mix of stocks and bonds. So aggressive, I'm just give you some for instance. An aggressive investor or someone in the accumulation phase would have like a 70-30 mix of stocks versus bonds. I have 70% of my assets in stocks, I have 30% in bonds. So then when you move to the protection phase, well, you want to make sure that you don't screw up what you did, and so you want to protect those assets. So you move the mix, say 50-50. You want to be half in stocks, half in bonds. So I want to protect half of it, but I want to still be in it to win it with the stocks. So half of my money is still in it to win it, because the stocks are the ones that make the bigger potential gains, where the bonds are the slow and steady wins the race type of thing. But I want to recategorize that as slow and steady loses. That's really what it is. Slow and steady loses the race. That's reality, but that's not textbook, right? So, like I say, moderate would be the 50-50, and then the conservative or the distribution phase would be the 30%, 70% slice of stocks versus bonds. So you'll have 30% of your assets in stocks and 70% in bonds. And then you could be even, 20-80. You could be 10-90, So that's just a fundamental explanation, right? So using the straight line concept, I think, is better. And that's what the only other person I ever heard mention it, that it's a good way is Julian, who was on his show. I literally talked to uh, people who I just assumed they must be smarter than me, and we in heated debates about it, and I never walk away convinced. I'm only usually convinced that they're not even engaging in uh, the possibility that they could be wrong. That the textbook is an answer to a question from the past, but that question doesn't apply to our current environment. So in my opinion, doing this straight line investment concept frees you up mentally, for one, which is important, and it's going to allow you to create a better investment strategy. And I'm going to have to address the volatility issue. The volatility issue is the whole thing behind the life cycle phase. The life cycle phase, the aggressive, moderate, conservative thing, and the 70-30 split, 70-30, 50-50, 30-70. All of that is rooted in the concept that, you are investing for your finite life. And it assumes that you are not investing for your legacy, meaning you do not care about those who are after you. And when I say care, I mean you don't care financially. You have separated your financial life from your descendants' financial life. And you are taking care of yours and your children. And once they hit 18, that's on them. It's up to them to figure it out and live their financial life the best way they can. So that is really embedded in this concept of life cycle phases and investing according to your life cycle phase. And also there is another problem with the straight line investing concept that was mentioned in that video, and that is the risk tolerance of the individual and the investment selections that are going to that I'm kind of limited by because of your risk tolerance could preclude you investing in a straight line, meaning for a legacy that does not stop. And embedded in that, your risk tolerance, if it's going to preclude you from doing that, that just means what it means fundamentally is you lack the financial literacy and understanding of the investment vehicles, investment concepts, and the part about legacy investing, and that trying to leave give a leg up, give a boost to those who come from behind you, not just your kids but their kids and their kids' kids. So if you're not thinking that way, then you're going to be heavily influenced by volatility. And in that type of a person who is heavily influenced by volatility ends up being a person who buys high and sells low. And that doesn't work for investing. But so some of the things I'm telling you are conceptual, but I'm also talking about reality and how people actually do. It's the actions that people take. So the actions that people take by not investing for the long haul, and when I say long haul, not just the long life that you're gonna have, I mean beyond your life. By not doing that, it's just all issues in that cause the mentality that brings you to that point. It's all about investor behavior. And that's what investor behavior, issues surrounding investor behavior, is what causes you to buy high and sell low, not save for your legacy, not value investing in general, hoarding your assets, fear of failing, all of those. I can keep going on all these little negative traits, personality traits that cause us to make negative financial decisions. And the existing school of thought leaves you susceptible to outliving your resources. And you may have done very well on your saving and investing, but when you outlive your resources, now you become a burden to your legacy. You are a burden to your kid. Your kid ain't gonna say you're a burden, right? But you are a burden because they now have to take care of you. And let me give you, and now we're talking about reality. I'm telling you some of the things that it's not conceptual, it's not textbook. This is what happens actually in the world. I'm telling you this from the front line working with the people. So what actually happens is that if that parent did great, they're going to run out of money still because they lived 1 year longer than their money, and now that's a burden on you. But on you, let me touch on that first. Who is you? Most often, I'm going to even say 99% of the time, that person who is burdened is going to be the female child. So I don't care if it's 6 kids in the family and 2 of y'all are girls, at least one of them girls is going to be shouldering the burden of taking care of the parent. And you could identify the kid right now. Just go in there and look at your kids, and which one of them is the most responsible. First of all, which one of them is the girl? And of the girls, which one is the most responsible girl, or the mama's kid, the one that's always latched on to the father or the mother? That's the daughter that's going to be burdened. So right now, go in the room where your kids are, look in there. You could identify the one right now who you're going to screw up. You're going to screw up her life if you don't get your financial life in order. Literally, you're messing up her life. Just telling you. I'm not telling you, this is not textbook. This is just the reality of what happens in the real world. So those are some of the issues that arise from our current school of thought and investment philosophies and investment. And I'm going to now step to some of the solutions for you if you started late. So let me ask the question again. Question is, are you embarrassed about your financial condition? Ask yourself that. Do you get frustrated when you think about investing in retirement? Do you get frustrated when you wonder whether you're going to achieve your financial goals? Are you ashamed about your lack of investing? If the answer is yes to any of those, here's how you solve that problem. First off, You have to begin right now. Begin now. Now, understand, that's all you can do. You can't go back in time and right this wrong. So give that up. Chalk that one. Let's start now. Okay, so we've established that. We have to start now. All right. Next, you need to work with your finance professional. Now, first, let me say, I'm looking for more clients as well, so I can help you. But you currently have people working for you. If you have a 401k anywhere, even if you're unemployed right now and you had a 401k, wherever that 401k is, you need to call that company because there is someone assigned to your account. So they are currently making money off of you by not doing nothing because they're not even talking to you. At best, you probably don't even receive paper statements no more. You might receive an email that says, hey, you can log in and look at your statement now. So that's the level of help they're giving you. So call them and make them earn the money that you are currently paying them. You don't even know you paying them, but you paying them. They are getting paid based on the assets in your account. This is not sinister. This is just how it works, right? In order for you to have an account and for them to put forth the efforts to help you achieve your goals by increasing your assets, making your $1 turn into $2, they receive a fee for that. So they're just doing this without your help. You're not even helping them. You're making it harder for them to do their job. They don't even know you. You've never called the who. Here's another question. Ask yourself this. What's the name of the advisor who is assigned to your 401k account? And if you have an old 401k that you had at another job, who is the advisor assigned to that 401k? And why you don't have that under your control? It's important right there. So I'm saying that. So I said, begin now and get a professional to help you right now. Don't think that you can't get one because you currently have one. You currently have someone assigned to your money. Is currently getting paid off of your money. Getting paid off of it. I mean, they're working, they're doing something. But see, if you're not making regular contributions to it anymore, this in the case of your old 401k, then it's literally sitting there and just paying that firm. I mean, it's not sinister. It's not a bad thing, but you are making their job of helping you harder. And at the same time, you are making your circumstance worse. So begin now. Contact a professional. And if you don't have those people to help you, well, you could just, reach out to me. Send me an email. And all right, so those are the top thing to do. Start now. Get help. Okay. Now let's get into some of the things we can use, some of the strategies and tools when you're in this hole. So I'm just going to cover these to help alleviate your fears and put some information on your mind so that you will understand the way I understand that you are not a lost cause and you can in fact leapfrog and catch right back up. You could do it this year. And some of these tools, understand, I can't tell you everything, right? And I'm someone who knows a lot about this industry. and I know a whole lot about the specific stuff that I do, but there are components of this stuff that I could give you info and point you, but I can't tell you everything, right? So I'm saying that to say that you need to contact your finance person who's in charge of your accounts, right? Your who's assigned to your accounts, but you also need a team. You need a team of advisors in the various areas of your financial life that you're going to be involved with. So I mean, like you need to get real estate agent. You need the, mortgage broker. You need the financial advisor. You need insurance folks. You need and tax, CPA, tax planners, and on and on and on. If you're an entrepreneur, you're gonna need, coaching. You're gonna need a lot, but it's here for you, and you can put that team together. And when I say put that team together, I don't want you to think in terms of you sitting in the center as the millionaire and you got all these minions around you who are at your beck and call with a notepad ready to do whatever you say. Okay, Mr. Smith, what do we do next? No, it's not like that. What I mean is find the people pick up your phone, look on the internet, look in the phone book, find yourself 3 potential options. It's the best thing. Look for 3 recommendations. Ask people people you respect. Hey, could you recommend a mortgage broker for me? Hey, could you recommend a life insurance salesperson for me? Can you recommend a car insurance person? Can you recommend a financial advisor for me? So ask that question and get 3 recommendations. Even if you just punched it up on the internet, just get 3 recommendations and interview those people. And you don't have to have millions of dollars. You could do this with no dollars. You don't have to tell them what you got. You say, well, hey, I'm looking for a place to put my assets and my investments, and I'm interested in finding out more about your firm. Tell me what you guys do. And they're going to say, okay, well, they're going to ask you a few questions. And if they say, well, what you working with? How much money you got? Just don't tell them. Just say, oh, no, I don't, just tell me about your services first, right? Just say that, or pick a number. Just say, I got 50 G's, or I got 5,000, or I got 500,000. Tell them what you want to tell them. So you're just looking for information at this point. All right, that part is, I'm gonna leave that alone now. Now I want to just touch on some of the things you can do, right? Because you behind and you want to catch up. So that means we're gonna have to do heavy lifting, period. So what does that mean, right? Well, heavy lifting is let me touch on that second. First, what's the goal if I'm investing in a straight line? Straight line means there is no begin, there is no end. I'm investing and I'm going to teach those coming behind me to keep this ball rolling. We are building for the family. And to do that, we are building a big pot of gold and a big stream of income. Meaning we want passive income. We want to engage in passive income investing as part of our strategy. So what does that mean? That means we're going to have to be engaged in real estate investing. We're going to have to be engaged in investing for the purpose of receiving dividend income, and we want to receive P&I payments from somewhere. P&I payments are principal and interest payments. So let me tackle those separately for a moment. Real estate investing means we're going to use a couple of strategies, and that's your basic fix and flip and buy and hold. So the fix and flip is over on the pot of gold strategy. We're going to build up assets, and that is a way of using leverage, is a way of leapfrogging and and hurdling ourselves into success because we're using other people's money. And remember that conversation we had about the compound interest. Well, we just borrowed a whole lot of money, so we're receiving the compound returns on that borrowed money as well, and we're slowly paying off that that money that we borrowed. So you have double the impact there, or you have multiple ways in which you are impacting your success in these investments. So on the real estate, we're gonna need to do some fix and flipping. I'm just giving you some potential solutions, right? Every individual is gonna be different, but these are just some of the things you could be fix and flipping. You fix and flip 3 houses, you back on track. You just caught up to all the people you were envying and that they were so far ahead of you. Now, another thing is we need the rental income. So fix and flip is one thing, but buy and hold is the other thing. So buy and hold is because we want to see rental income. And the rental income is part of our passive income strategy. So we just receiving the rents, and over time we're making P&I payments, those payments of principal and interest on our loan, and that is increasing our ownership in that asset, right? So at some point we're going to own that asset, and we are leveraging to make that so. And at the same time, we may even be fixing and flipping these properties to ourselves in some cases because we want to receive rental income. So that's the buy and hold section. The buy and hold part is we want to build up these properties in our portfolio of real estate, so that we're going to leave that legacy to our heirs, so that they will have passive income coming in, rents. So they have the wealth because of the asset and the income because of the rents. So that is that's not more than a magic bullet. That's like a magic 12 gauge shotgun.